Hello, this is a build overview for my 1.2 metre Tigermoth biplane. I've never really been into scale models before, but for my 40th birthday my wife and I went on joy flights, aerobatic joy flights in Tigermoths, which was a lot of fun. So ever since then I've loved the Tigermoth. Now, to work out dimensions, I basically found some photos on the internet. This is a model you can buy, I think, plastic model, and just took sort of scale measurements from the drawings and scaled it up to 1.2 metres. It's pretty rough, but I just wanted something that looked similar to a Tigermoth that would fly okay. The wings are hot wire cut insulation foam, and I actually already had a few of these lying around from test cuts that I'd been doing, learning how to do hot cut wings, and they just happened to be the right size, so that's what prompted me to start building, basically. The colour scheme for this model is based on the Tigermoth that I went up in. The one Virginia went up in was a silver one, but mine was a yellowy orange one, sort of looking similar to this one. The wings are rubber banded on to the underneath of the fuselage, and the shape of the top of the airfoil is cut into the fuselage so that the wing sits properly. Gives it the correct angle of incidence. And they're held together, or the struts are arrow shafts, and they're just glued into the foam, which isn't all that strong, but I've put some ID card washers glued on the top surface and underneath there, just to give it a bit more strength, and the string bracing helps as well. Initially I had the rear strut back too far, which limited the size of the aileron that I could have, and they turned out to be too small and not effective, so I had to pull them out, shift the rear strut forward and increase the size of the ailerons, and it flies much better now. The Aileron servos are mounted on the top of the bottom wing, with the servo wires just running in and sort of through a hole underneath the fuselage. And they're Metal Gear Micros 9018s, which do the job well. This is underneath, and you can see I've got a single 6mm by 1mm carbon fibre ribbon spar. I also have some short arrow shaft spars just to sort of locate the wing in the right position. And that's plenty stiff, it's stiff enough. The wing is a simple Clark Y airfoil, 180mm cord by 1.2 metres. There's a little bit of sweep in the wings, and the real Tigermoth has a fair bit of dihedral as well, which I've got a little bit of dihedral in the top wing, but not the bottom wing. And I think it'd be a good idea to have some dihedral. It would make it fly a lot more smoothly, I think. This one you have to keep flying it all the time. You can't take your eyes off it, otherwise it'll roll and dip and carry on. The struts holding the top wing to the body and bracing the whole wing setup is PVC plastic, and it's bolted through the side of the fuselage just with some M3 bolts, and I've just got a pin going through sort of another PVC bracket that's glued to or taped to the undersurface of the top wing. And the fuselage length is about 850mm. The fuselage is 6mm Depron, and I basically just cut out the right shape for the side walls and then filled it in where I had to, top and bottom, with more Depron. For extra strength under the nose, I added a sheet of 3mm ply, because that takes a lot of the impact from landing. The landing gear is 20mm aluminium bent into a bracket. I have a piano wire axle. I have some bracing wire here too that's spring loaded or via a rubber band, and the whole thing is just cable tied on so that it can break away in a hard landing and it's easy to replace. The motor is a DT750, which gives plenty of power, especially on 4S. It works quite okay on 3S for cruising around, but a 4S 3000 battery really brings it alive. The prop is an 11 by 5.5 inch prop, and you can see I've broken it at the moment. I need to replace that one. And on the nose I have some 5mm ply, quite a sturdy piece for the motor to mount to, and a big hole cut there for a bit of airflow going through the plane, but it really doesn't get too hot at all. And we take the cover off, and you can see the receiver is tucked right back there, ESC here, and there's plenty of room to pop the big 4S battery, 4S 3000 battery in the front there. That balances it reasonably well. And I use an FR Sky current sensor to keep a track on the consumed power and voltage left. Top of the fuselage is just stiff card, sort of bent over in the turtle deck shape and taped on with black tape. Does a reasonable job of simulating the real thing. A little bit of a cabin. It's got quite a big rudder, which is very effective, and quite a big elevator as well, so can do loops and rolls quite easily now, especially with the decent sized ailerons. And you'll notice this servo wire coming back here. I've discovered that this is great for FPV if you mount the FPV camera up on the tail there. I think to improve it, I'd have a better system of connecting the two wings. The arrow shafts are light and strong, but probably need to glue something in along that plane there to stop them sort of wiggling backwards and forwards and breaking away from the foam. So that's my latest plane, and like all latest planes, it's my favourite. But I've already started working on the next one, which will be similar to this, but with another wing. It'll be the Fokker Drydecker #1, the Red Baron's plane. See you later.